Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lawyer Up Podcast. We're happy to be here. We have some exciting news to share with you. Today, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of protecting DACA. Now, many people know what DACA is, but just in case you don't know, DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. It's a program created by President Obama in 2012, which had very strict requirements. Now, although we say that President Obama created it, he directed the agency of Department of Homeland Security to create the requirements of DACA. Now, for example, one of the requirements have to show that that person, the applicant, was present in the U.S. on June 15, 2012, and has never left the U.S. since then. And most importantly, that they have not committed certain crimes. So not anyone could just apply. This DACA program allowed essentially two benefits. One was what the Supreme Court calls a forbearance, but we call it a deferral of removal. And the second thing is a work permit. And so they can continue contributing to the economy. The court said that if this DACA was only to defer removal, then it likely would have been ruled in the favor of the government. But they relied on the fact that there was a grant of a work permit. And in 2017, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions had sent a letter to Acting Secretary of Department of Homeland Security Elaine Duke to highly suggest to cancel DACA. Her reasoning was so several things had happened around that time, and then because Elaine Duke was only acting secretary, several months later, there was confirmed by Congress for Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Her name was Kristen Nielsen. And so around September 2017, she actually provided additional reasoning to support Elaine Duke's rationale of canceling DACA. However, the Supreme Court today stated that was insufficient because Secretary Nelson had a chance to provide her own reasoning, but she failed to do that. And even though she was allowed to provide additional reasoning to support Elaine Duke's rationale, it was insufficient. The Supreme Court stated that the rescission of DACA is under the review of the Administrative Procedures Act, and it's also within the court's jurisdiction to make a decision on it. And secondly, DHS's decision to rescind DACA was arbitrary and capricious under the Administrative Procedures. Now, break it down for me. What the APA is, the Administrative Procedures Act. Now, of course, if you go to law school and you're a lawyer now, you know exactly what that is. It's ingrained in our head that phrase arbitrary and capricious. We will never forget that phrase. Chief Justice Roberts stated that the omission of reasoning by Acting Secretary Elaine Duke was arbitrary and capricious, but that was not the only defect. In fact, she failed to address whether there was a legitimate reliance on the DACA program. And Chief Justice Roberts said that Elaine Duke did not provide any reasoning at all. She just said it was unlawful. And because Secretary Nielsen chose not to take any new action on the DACA, she was limited to elaborating on the agency's original rationale. But her reasoning bore little relationship to that of her predecessor. So that consisted of impermissible post hoc rationalization. One important thing to note today is that President Trump thinks he can do anything he wants. The purpose of the Administrative Procedures Act is that it provides the checks and balances to the governmental system. The nature of the APA is they're supposed to keep the public informed. So they do that is by publishing notices in their website, federalregister.gov. And the public has 30 days to respond, whether they're for something or against a proposed rule. And after that time period, the government agency is supposed to review every single comment. Do they follow it? Likely not. But it's an opportunity for the public to comment, let their voice be heard. And it basically, in a sense, allows the public to participate in the rulemaking process. And so the fact that the Department of Homeland Security today actually issued a statement stating more or less that they believe that the Supreme Court uh, incorrectly ruled about DACA today. Um, Outrageous. It's very unfortunate because I've never seen or heard of a situation like this where an agency within the government is now rebooking what a court had mentioned. I can understand a president tweeting about it, but an agency itself is now acting on their own. We receive questions from our clients and folks in the public, in the community, on what will happen next. People who are renewing their DACA, where they've continued to do that, can, yes. There are people are asking if they can apply if they haven't applied before. So they'll be considered a new applicant. And, we cautiously say yes, that you can apply, but we would strongly suggest waiting to do that because number one, the government fee is at least $495. Department of Homeland Security likely will come out with some kind of guidance or further instructions based on the Supreme Court ruling today, and they could do that within a couple days or next week. Um, so I would just hold off on that. But in the meantime, what you can do is gather that evidence. Okay, you can look at the uscis.gov website or have a consultation with an attorney to see how they can help you get started on the gathering the documents because it is a lot of documents, especially now it's 2020. And one of the first documents, you have to show presence that you were here in the US June 15th, 2012, and have continually stayed in the US and never left. So basically, we recommend having something establishing that you're in the US or living here every month for each year. Some people think that the same agency that created the program can just be simply canceled or deleted. That's not how it works in the government. Once you create something, and especially as millions of people relied on this program, especially the work permit authorization, and now that they've maybe bought a home or they've started a family and have children, that was the whole purpose of DACA because people have been living here for a long time already since they were brought here as children. And so this is exactly what Chief Justice Roberts noted. Now imagine this. What if the welfare benefits or the Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits were all taken away just because an agency said, sure, let's go ahead and cancel it? That would not fly. And the same thing applies for DACA because millions of people rely on it. The court does this quite often. They leave it open. Of course, the Supreme Court won't say, well, DACA can live forever. Essentially, it provided opportunity for the government to, under, for example, the Trump administration, to cancel it again. But of course, provide more profound rationale. The very nature of the Administrative Procedures Act is to ensure that the public has an opportunity to participate in the rulemaking process and that there's also a checks and balances in the government system. President Trump thinks he can do whatever he wants. And today, the Supreme Court, fortunately, checked him. Just stay tuned. We'll let you know if the Department of Homeland Security does provide further guidance on whether new applicants can apply. If you like today's content, please hit subscribe down below so you can receive the notification. And if you have any questions or comments, please write that down below.